Hello faithful viewers, and welcome back to another review, and this time, behold, Galvatron. Yes, this is Kingdom Leader Class Galvatron, a modern interpretation of the G1 version of the character, and oh my god, let me just say from the gate, this figure is stunning. He is absolutely molto bene beautiful in every conceivable way. He does have a few, well, one real nitpick that I've got, but apart from that, it's an almost flawless figure. This thing is just, wow. Now, what the hell do we actually call Galvatron's G1 vehicle mode? Because even I'm not sure. Is it like a turret? Is it a cannon? It's a thing. It's a thing. Editing me. Put up what it is. Put up TF Ricky's definition of what this is on the screen right here. It's that. This is a thing he turns into in a cartoon one time. It's decent, isn't it? You know, like G1, Megatron, Galvatron, they had the wackiest vehicle modes out of any of their incarnations. But I've always liked Galvatron's vehicle mode better than Megatron's, because at least this makes sense. Turning into a Walter P38, honestly. So, Galvy's main colour scheme, as we would expect from a Galvatron, purple and silver and an orange cannon. A few black bits here and there. Good. But it's a very faithful interpretation of the canon that he turns into in the original cartoon and in Kingdom and all of the other versions of Galvatron that share this look. It's hard to really talk about what there is in terms of detail because it is a big lump of purple and grey plastic after all. But we do have obviously this sticking out the front. We've got some nice pointy bits here and there. We've got some nice treads along these bits, I suppose. We have a good stand on the back to help with stability. Now, I believe the original G1 version of this, you could actually use it as a gun if you wanted. If you fold up these stabilising bits here, you can hold him like that, and yeah, you can still pretend, if you wish, that he is a gun and go pew-pew and stuff. He doesn't have any lights and sounds, thank God, because that would be annoying. Yeah. It's a thing you can do. Now, the only nitpick that I had, my guy suffers from some tabbing issues here. Now, I don't know if it's specific to my copy of the figure or if it is just a general mould defect, but when you're transforming him back into his cannon mode, you fold these pieces down and they're meant to clip in to slots on the lower torso here. This side does it. This side, as you can see from the gappage, does not do it. And I don't think I've ever successfully been able to plug it in, but it just will not have it. And that really is my only gripe with this figure. Other than that, flawless. Just beautiful. We'll go on to the accessories before I cream myself even more. And we'll cover these now. So, if you remember my Kingdom Cyclonus review, I'll bring Cyclonus in here quickly. He came with one of these blasters. Well, this Galvatron also came with one of these blasters, but I'm giving it to Cyclonus for a minute just because it suits him better. And I wouldn't imagine Galvatron to be running about with one of those things. The other things that Galvatron comes with are these. Now, I think these are meant to be miniaturized versions of the big warship that Unicron gives him in the not in the TV movie because that's Doctor Who, but in the 86 film. Is it 86? TF Ricky, tell me. Either way, this is meant to be a miniaturized version of that ship, but he comes with two of them, and he could hold them individually like blasters, or if you do so desire, you can press them together like this, and you could create a mega gun for him, I suppose, or like a mega ship. This is weird. This is a weird little thing to give him, and I'm not really particularly sure what to do with them, you know, like plug them together. Cheap bit of grey plastic. Yeah, I'm not particularly very impressed with these, to be honest. You can plug him onto his back, which we will look at later just to get them out of the way. or you can just dump them off to the side like I just did. The other little gimmick he comes with, not a gimmick, but the other thing is a portable matrix of leadership, which he takes from Ultra Magnus in the film and wears around his neck with this chain, and it's just a nice little piece of decorative goodness for him. The matrix isn't really interactive at all. You can't open it up. It's just a solid piece. I don't think you can take it off this chain. I think it's fused on there. Don't try it. And yeah, it's nice. It's nicely painted, I suppose. I'm not too fussed about the things that he comes with. The real meat is Galvatron here. Now, to transform this guy, word to the wise, it is conceptually quite easy to do, but you do forget, if you don't play with him a lot, quite how to do it. So he's easy, but he's confusing. What we first want to be doing is ripping off the orange carrot that he has on the front and just setting that aside for now. And then coming to the top here, ripping this bit off. I said ripping this bit off, come on. This will be the rest of his cannon. That'll stick onto his forearm, and we'll put that away as well. So we're going to take this step by step, and I've got to try and remember how I got him into this mode and how to reverse him. We'll start here. We'll flip up these bits of stability, and we'll fold that up all the way. Now, if you know Galvatron, these will be his legs, these will be his arms. It's very faithful to his G1 representation, as I said before. Then, what do we do? We will unclip these grey tabs here, and they plug it onto his shoulders. Unclip at least that side from the torso. Then we're just going to rotate these up and out of the way. Then, oh lordy loo, what we're going to do? I suppose hinge that up just for clearance sake. We want to hinge all of that out of the way. Then come to the legs, split them apart, rotate them, I want to say this way round. We can get the heels out if you've got a long enough nail. Just like that, there we go. Come on, there we go. Then take these purple pieces and rotate them around to the back, so you're effectively pinning those stabilizers into the back of his legs. If I can, they plug in really securely, which is a good thing. You'd like secureness in a figure, but it does make getting them back out a pain in the backside. Right, come, and it would help if you would see that. Come here, we're just going to hinge all of this back and unclip that just for now, fold it up. Then we're going to rotate all of this up like that, he says. We're going to come to this and open it up, and that'll allow us to fold out his head and rotate his chest down into place. We can then, if we get it situated correctly, plug all that in, and then plug that nice and snugly back in there. And then we should be able to plug that back bit into the back there, and I feel like I've not quite got that hinged correctly. Let's see, what are we doing wrong? That plugs in there like that. So you'd have thought, there we go, that's better. Have all of that nicely like that, and then plug in the sides of the torso. That's quite a cool transformation feature. I do like how you just split all these off. Honestly, some of these Kingdom figures have very good, very good engineering about them. And the same is true for Galvatron here. You know, Cyclonus, excellent engineering. Galvatron, excellent engineering. It's not as inventive as Cyclonus, but it's still pretty cool. Take these skirt pieces and just fold them flat against his sides of his legs. Then all we need to do now is unclip the tyres, fold his forearms down, just like this, rotate his hands out from the sides, and then hinge these back. And there's a couple of slots on the backs of his shoulders, that tabs on the wheels, can plug into, just like that, there we go. Unravel all of this, oh, nice and secure. Rotate that out, fold that like that. Make sure you have his pauldrons at a decent angle so they don't look ridiculous. Just like that. And then return, to all of this, stick the carrot into that, and then it's kind of personal preference as to what port on his arm. You've got the choice. I think for accuracy you want to be putting it in the one above, like that. And there we go, ladies and jelly beans. We have our G1 Kingdom Galvatron, fully transformed into his robot mode. And doesn't that look absolutely stunning? You know, the only other version of Galvatron, G1 representative, that exists, other than this guy, apart from the G1 figure itself, is that really crap Universe figure. I think it's Universe, it might be Generations. Anyway, that other version that is like the black sheep of the family that we don't talk about, the outcast, the child that was sent off to boarding school never to return. And that, for the longest time, was the only representation of G1 Galvatron apart from the original figure that we ever had. I mean, you could seek out Energon Galvatron if you wanted for kind of like an accurate representation, apart from all of the Energon aesthetic. But then, recently, we got this guy. And isn't he just drop dead gorgeous? Now, I know the fandom had a little bit of an issue with all of this battle damage scuff on him, and the Legacy toy line has reissued this figure without all of that, so you can actually have a pure, pristine, clean Galvatron. And honestly, that is the one I wanted. But having this version in person, all of these scuff marks, and I'll zoom in just so you can see them a little bit more, they don't look too hideous. I can live with them. Gives him a little bit more flair, I suppose. And just taking a look at all of this detail in its glory, a beautifully sculpted face. You can see he's got the little goatee going on, nice crown there. It's also accurate. The black pauldrons, the red abs, purple Decepticon logo, not the same shade as the body, so it just doesn't blend in invisibly. It's nice, it's there. Nice silvery legs. It's not proper silver though, it's kind of like a light grey, but what you're going to do, this is Hasbro after all. Nice little red blops of paint on the kneecaps, and of course you've got this translucent orange for his cannon. He's just stunning. Paintwork is immaculate. Moulding is immaculate. I just, this figure, get him. I'm going to say this right now, get him, if you can. Another really good thing about this figure, look at the minimalistic kibble he's got. Obviously, these bits are on him, but that is accurate to how he is in the cartoon. Otherwise, he doesn't even really have a backpack. There's this, but it blends into him perfectly. It's just, oh, it's so good. It's so good. In terms of articulation, Galvatron can rotate his head a full 360 degrees. He can tilt it up ever so slightly and not really tilt it down at all. For the arms, they can spread out that far. They can rotate at the shoulder. You can unclip the torso if you so wish. That's not proper articulation. He has a double hinged elbow, so you can get over 90 degrees of bend there. That's excellent. He has a waist swivel. So if the skirt pieces weren't in the way, he could actually, in theory, achieve 360 degrees. But as it is, you can go left and right decently. In terms of the spread, he has a beautiful spread. That's excellent. He has a fabulous forward kick. He has a pretty decent back kick. He has a wonderful 90-degree bend at the knee. And then in terms of feet, he sort of has that, but that is kind of cheating. That is breaking his legs apart for transformation purposes. But he sort of has a little bit of tilt there that you could achieve. And of course, the heels can waggle in and out like that. So overall, for articulation, Galvatron reigns supreme. Now let's talk about the infamous issue that Galvatron had for some releases. This figure was released many places with his shoulders incorrect. Now we can see that my copy of the figure thankfully has them in the correct formation. But what exactly do I mean by incorrect? Well, the best example I can give is if I rotate his arm like that, and rotate it like that, and rotate it like that. A lot of the versions of this figure were kind of released with their arms like this, with the pin facing forwards. Now, this isn't obviously quite accurate because the solution isn't as simple as rotating the arm like that. A lot of people went to the extremes of actually disassembling these arms just to correctly format it. But yeah, if you have a Galvatron of your own and you don't know about this, if your copy's shoulders are like this, they are incorrect. And you might want to consider rotating them around like that to get them correct. Or if you're feeling adventurous and you can find some DIY instructions on YouTube, then you can have a go at disassembling a shoulder to get it correct. So it wants to look like this. That's your own prerogative. I'll let you decide to do that if you so wish. But if you're fortunate, you'll get one where it's all correct. We'll quickly turn our attention back to some of the accessories that Galvy comes with. So the Matrix of Leadership, you can just plug on like that. Sits at a bit of an angle, which is a bit of a shame. Yeah, he's fine with it. I prefer my Galvatrons without that sort of thing, but just for the sake of keeping everything together, I do display him with all of this rubbish on him. But again, I'm not thrilled about any of these accessories. They're complementary bits of fluff, I think. And then if we turn into the side and return to these, you can, and I've got to try and remember how to do this exactly, you can plug these on to these tabs here. Let's see. And yeah, it certainly gives him a bit more of a unique profile. But Galvy always had a unique profile, so I don't really know where I'm going with this chain of thought. They don't sit on here particularly very well. They are prone to being knocked off pathetically easily. So it's, yeah, I don't know. I could have done without these things, really, personally. Could have it like that. There we go. I suppose that's a thing. That's a look for him, isn't it? Yeah, it is what it is. It's not. I don't know. I'm not particularly fussed about it all, to be honest. So lo and behold, Galvatron is actually a leader class figure. And you'd be mistaken for thinking that he's a Voyager class figure when we do a size comparison with fellow Voyagers. This is Cyclonus from Kingdom as well, and as you can see, they're the same height. Cyclonus is a Voyager class figure and Galvatron is a leader class figure. What? In what universe does this make sense? Why is this the thing now where leader class figures have shrunk? And what makes a leader class figure is the accessories that he comes with and or the complexity of the transformation. But I wouldn't even say the complexity of the transformation in this case because he's no harder than Cyclonus. But either way, here's a comparison of two S-tier figures. Both of these guys are amazing, by the way. Get them both if you can. Here's Galvatron next to another S-tier figure. This is the Last Night Voyager class Megatron. Yeah, Voyager class. Yeah. Believe it or not. Again, get both of these figures. They're both absolutely fantastic. And here is Galvatron next to Voyager class Studio Series Revenge of the Fallen Megatron. Yeah. Studio Series. Voyager class. Why is this Megatron bigger than this Galvatron? Huh? Again, this Megatron's a pretty cool figure. Get him. Definitely get him. If you want a proper Revenge of the Fallen Megatron representation, get this guy. Get him. Get them both. Get them both. Get them both! So there we go. That is our look at the G1 Kingdom Galvatron figure. And he is absolutely splendid. I love this thing. I think that this is one of the best figures that Hasbro has released in the last few years. He's absolutely brilliant. Transformation is a joy to do, and it's very inventive how the sides of his torso split apart and hinge down, and just how you make an accurate mold of Galvatron in general. You know, he's got a superbly accurate vehicle mode. He's got a superbly accurate robot mode. He's articulated beautifully. Spectacular, immaculate paintwork all round. He's just an absolute joy to have. I cannot recommend this guy highly enough. Honestly, get this Galvatron or any of the other versions that exist out there. As I said earlier, the not the Kingdom, this is the Kingdom version, the Legacy version of this figure. The only difference is that these scuff details do not exist on him, so he's a plain, polished factory Galvatron basically. So if that's your preference, get that version. There is a G1 toy accurate colour variation of him, so basically he's almost like a white sort of Galvatron representation, accurate to the original G1 figure. So by all means, get that version if that's your preference. There is there's a formatting Galvatron version, so basically it's like a translucent purple version when Unicron is reformatting Megatron into Galvatron. There's a version of this guy from that exists. And if that's your fancy, by all means, get him. No matter what your personal taste is, this mould is absolutely spectacular. Get any version that you want, just do it. Just get him. You won't regret it. So that's Galvatron for you. 10 out of 10. Thank you everybody so much for stopping by and checking out this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around to help out the channel. And until the next time, see you all later.